Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last QHHT Hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of the session, and when I refer to Lorrayne, I'm speaking of my practitioner who's asking me questions I've prepared in advance of the session, and when I refer to me, I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, which means the answers are coming from the 25th. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching and commenting on this video, and it really makes me happy. You know this. All right, let's get started here. And today's questions, this section refers to what I call nature of reality, basically how stuff works. All right, so here's Lorrayne asking the first question. David shows us videos all the time of glitches in the matrix and NPCs recording them. Is reality breaking down faster for the NPCs because they have no higher self maintaining the shell? Or is the veil thinning for NPCs and people with essences at the same rate? Me. Yeah, so it really depends on what you refer to when you say breaking down. If you're referring to, like Clea was saying, the veil is thinning, yeah, the veil is thinning for everyone. The veil is just thinning. We are not interested in keeping the veil in place anymore. We know what we know now. So the veil is just one less pretense that we keep here, that we want to keep for now. And so again, when we say the veil is thinning, it seems like it's something external. It's a third party, something happening out there where it's thinning. We are removing the pretense. This is what's happening. This is what we mean when we say the veil is thinning. We are not interested in keeping the separation, the same degree of separation we had before. And so in that sense, the veil is thinning, period, for everybody. However, if you're talking about NPCs being more aware of reality breaking down, not that they are aware the way that we are aware, but more strange things. What we would think of as strange things from a 3D perspective happening to NPCs. Yes, it is in that sense breaking down faster for them. For one simple reason, that there is no higher self. Reality is always glitching. We said this many times. There's no higher self there. The NPC has no higher self there protecting them from seeing it, from becoming aware that reality is acting weird, whatever we think of as weird. And therefore, yes, while we keep our reality looking somewhat linear, they were laughing, and even that doesn't really work because, like you were saying, Lorrayne, we don't care anymore. We just don't care about keeping things the way they were before. The NPCs have no such intention, Lorrayne. Thank you. On the other side of that, we are the ones creating the NPCs in our reality. So the more detached we are, perhaps the less we care what they do. Me. And that's what it is all the way. We really don't care about a lot of this anymore. So this world, we said previously, even if we had stayed here, this would have never gone back to what it was before, because we had really a very strong determination previously to keep things looking a certain way. Now we don't anymore. And this is why a lot of the, for example, the dark agendas, and there is no dark here anymore, a lot of the dark agendas are really fading away in the background. It's all just talk and noise. That's all it is. Noise, background noise that we keep there because, and Lorrayne jumped in and she said, I apologize. I like the idea of the pretense, that we're not keeping the pretense in place. Therefore, that quote unquote veil thinning is just us not really caring anymore. Me, correct. And so, yeah, so basically, you know, the NPCs, we just need them for our own purposes to do certain things. For example, everything Clea is experiencing right now, with the exception of her daughter and the cats, is through NPCs. So when she says life is lighter, all these things are going great. All these people are helping me out and making great stuff happen for me. There's nobody there making things happen for Clea. She's aware of it, and they were chuckling. But she's like, this is another thing she has intended for herself. She goes, well, if the NPCs are going to be around here, they might as well make me happy. So let's see what they can do for me. And Lorrayne at the 25th were laughing because she's having fun. She's having fun with it. Why not? This is the same thing we're going to do when we're on New Earth. We're going to create a reality. You know, might as well do this, might as well do that. And Lorrayne interjected here and she goes, I really love that. This is testing. Basically, she's testing. She goes, well, I create my reality. And so far, so good. This is how she's realized, yeah, look, everything is going according to plan, to my plan. And so that's why the NPCs, I mean, Clea doesn't care to keep NPCs out there from not seeing, you know, birds falling in midair. She doesn't care. She wouldn't even think about it. In fact, she thinks it's funny when she sees it. She goes, yeah, see, And when we say Clea, again, doesn't mean it's just Clea. We're talking about Clea as an example, but we're all doing the same thing. We don't care about this. In fact, we think it's kind of funny when we see weird things. It's very interesting when Edward posts these things. We're like, oh, look at the weird stuff that's happening. So it's fine. We're enjoying ourselves. And David and Edward are the same person. That's why the 25th corrected itself. Lorrayne, we are enjoying ourselves. All right, next question is from, and we will call this person Bob because I don't know if he wants his real name out there. Bob wants to know if he's insane. He is demotivated and feels very apathetic. What would you like to say about him? Me. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with Bob. He has been lonely from a 3D perspective. He has felt lonely. Of course, none of us is lonely. We are one. But Bob has felt very lonely. One, because he has found Clea's channel a little bit later than many of us. And therefore, he's gone through a lot of the stuff we've gone through, but without the support that we have had from each other. We're talking at 3D level, of course, because at higher self level, we all know exactly what's going on. And no higher self needs support of any kind. They were laughing. But as you well know, a lot of this work has been emotional. This is why we said we've been surprised, pleasantly surprised, to know that there was actually real value in speaking this information verbally and put it in on YouTube despite everything. And from the beginning, we said this was not necessary. The information was percolating. But because we have done this work consciously, it has been beneficial, the fact that we could openly talk about these things with people, especially considering that we find ourselves with nobody around, really. It's only us. And so it has been beneficial. Bob has not had the benefit of this. He's had to do a lot of the work in the background by himself. And therefore, he has at times, which is a very 3D way of thinking about it, which is exactly how we think about things here. Not that he's doing anything that none of us have done before. They were laughing. And so he thought, well, am I being crazy? These are questions that Clea has also asked herself, like, okay, what's going on here? Is this real? Is this not real? You, Lorrayne, have asked yourself the same questions your entire life. Okay, what do I believe? This is the work we do here, right? We prepare ourselves, we align. And so during that alignment, it's normal. He's gone through the demotivation. We've all gone through the demotivation. We talked about this in several sessions. He's gone through, okay, what is actually happening here? Because we are told, we have been told and wanted to believe certain things. And all of a sudden, we're hearing things that are completely different, completely new. And we're like, can this be? And all these things. So Bob comes to us, comes into the group saying, am I just crazy? They were laughing. Am I making these things up? And we are telling him, no, you're not making it up. And there is a reason that you ended up in this group. We already said it's less than a needle in a haystack, this channel that Clea has. Less than a needle in a haystack. It would be easier to find a needle in a haystack than to find her channel. What are the chances that Bob would find it? He found it because it was time. We are getting ready to leave. And he wanted to do the work consciously. So here he is, doing the work consciously. We are going to New Earth. He's coming to New Earth. And therefore, he wanted to know this information consciously to accelerate his conscious awareness. Because we are, in a way, in a hurry. We've talked about this in the sense of we really don't want the veil to be completely destroyed and gone before we leave. It will happen. It will happen at the end anyway. But we don't want it to be completely gone before we are done with this project. Because we know that it would be extremely uncomfortable and emotional for us to realize that everybody else is gone. Now, Clea is aware of it. She feels that there's nobody out there, even not just when she's talking with us, like in this case. Now she feels it all the time. And again, that's why she's telling herself, well, okay, fine. Then let's use these bodies because these bodies don't have a higher self telling them what to do anymore. So I will tell them what to do. But other than that, I mean, so Bob is not, there's nothing wrong with him. And not that there's anything wrong with feeling that way or not feeling that way or discovering this channel or not discovering this channel. It doesn't matter. We are all doing what we need to be doing. However, we prefer to be doing it. That's all there is to it. It's a preference. So he's perfectly fine. He's in the quote unquote right place. And we only say right, not because this is a place that's any better than any other, but because this is what he wanted. And therefore, this is what he found because he was seeking this. And we already said, if you seek, you must find. So he's found what he wanted and everything is fine. He's going through the motions as we are. And we're all friends, really. We all know each other already. So we are going to move on together. I thought this was beautiful and I really wanted to share with you. All right, Lorrayne, thank you. Okay, next question is from Kath. And interestingly, this question that I was transcribing, because I always write the timestamp when I go into a new paragraph, so I know where to find it in the recording, was asked at 1:04 p.m. Of course it was. And just in case you don't know, 1:04 is the code for the recall. So this question is from Kath, and she says, since our pets can clear energy for us, can the NPCs around us do it too? I am asking because my mom has had a persistent cold for ages now, a lot of mucus and throat-related stuff. I'm not interested in seeing her body breaking down, so sometimes I wonder if this doesn't serve some other purpose. Me. So there are really two aspects to this in our question. One, when she says pets can clear energy for us, we're talking about essences. We're talking about pets with essences who intend. We have the same mission as our pets. We talked about this. And no mission, there is no mission. We have the same intention as our pets in regards to what we're doing. For example, Clea's pets are going to New Earth, and they're helping Clea in her mission as a light worker. And therefore, her pets have cleared for her. We've talked about Tommy having teary eyes before, which he's doing much better with. He's been doing much better with for a long time now, because the resistance has been gone, and Clea has done a lot of the heavy lifting, the emotional work. And so in that sense, our pets help us clear because they are part of our energy and they're on our team, okay? But in the sense that she's referring to, an NPC would not help us clear. An NPC would not be having intention of clearing through their body because they are doing work. What happens with the NPCs, though, is that they are susceptible to the energy, and therefore the body can only take so much. We said this many, many times. And therefore, if the energy is flowing a certain way, the body might react. So in this case, her mother's NPC body would be clearing, but wouldn't necessarily be clearing to help Kath in what she is doing. So the body would not be clearing for Kath or to dissipate the energy that Kath's higher self is creating to do the things that it's doing. So Kath's body could be clearing because of that, because of the emotional work that she's doing. But her mother's body would not be clearing because of what Kath is doing. Now, we mean to say, this is a distinction, that there is no intention behind that about Kath's mom's body clearing. However, because of the energy that Kath is creating, then of course her mom's body could clear. So we hope we made this distinction. It's not the same thing. NPC bodies clear because they're susceptible to energy. So if her mom was separate from Kath, was in a different energetic environment, she might not be clearing, or she might be clearing because she's in a different energetic environment, but it has nothing to do with Kath. So she just happens to be nearby. And so, of course, the energy that Kath is creating will affect her, just like energy affects all NPCs. And this is why we said the NPCs are actually behaving better, quote unquote, meaning they're flowing with a higher polarity we have here. And therefore, they're not doing a lot of things they were doing before. But at the same time, of course, they're breaking down because the higher self has been gone for longer and longer now, for a longer time. But at the same time, it is not their intention to help with anything, which is different from how pets clear or why pets would clear for us. So we want to make this distinction so that Kath understands, and she will understand this explanation. Lorrayne, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is from Josie Adams. Hello, Josie. Have you ever questioned the 25th on ADHD? It seems like all videos I see, people are claiming to have it or just recently found out when they reached adulthood. What's going on? I even had one of my nieces claim she and her kids have it, and she tried to label my granddaughter with it until I told her, no, don't label my granddaughter. What is going on with this pandemic of ADHD? Me. It's just an idea, like everything else. For example, another idea was autism. And so people have certain ideas that are interesting to them. And therefore, they spread like wildfire. Many people find it interesting. And why do they find ADHD interesting? For example, because all of a sudden you feel like, it's almost like if you think about it, it almost has this connotation of not being a bad thing. It's like, oh, look at me. This is why I get so distracted. This is why I'm so excited. I have so much energy and I need to do so many things. It has a connotation like it's almost like I'm special, you know? And that's why people like it. It has nothing to do with anything. She now put a stop to it when it came to her granddaughter. And all of a sudden, her granddaughter doesn't have it because she said, no, we're not playing this particular game. It's almost like it doesn't really hurt you as a label. So people are playing with that. Now, of course, we know she's dealing with NPCs. So this is all the past, right? This doesn't even matter anymore. It's just so we can pretend that things are still happening. But see what a mild thing it is? I mean, I could say, for example, I have ADHD. And the next day I could say, I don't have ADHD anymore. And people wouldn't even question me, like, okay, how did you cure yourself? Oh, I meditate. It could be anything really. It just shows you how non-concrete, non-material ideas really are, that it makes absolutely no difference. Now, some people might use this ADHD idea to take drugs, for example. You see, now they have an excuse to take drugs, which is what they wanted from the beginning. They wanted this experience. They might have side effects. Whatever the case might be, they were setting up. They're aligning, right? They're setting up their life a certain way. Some other people might say, oh my God, I have ADHD because I forgot something or because I'm running all over the place, and nothing happens from it. They just have fun with the idea. So it's whatever, because ideas are not real. It's whatever you want to do with that idea, whatever it brings you to do. Basically, use that idea as a springboard to do what you wanted to do, what you wanted to experience from the first moment. So yeah, it's not real. It's interesting because now Josie's looking at this and this is her reality. And so she's thinking, why is this happening everywhere? But is it happening everywhere? Claire's not hearing about ADHD at all from anybody. So again, what is Josie paying attention to? Now, it's not a bad thing. And we mean like a low vibrational thing necessarily. It's just a thing. And then it can be used any way one wants, like everything else we played with here. With the same exact idea, we can say, oh, I'm attracted to it, or I'm repulsed by it. So you go in the opposite direction you wanted to go to from the beginning. So Josie's paying attention to this because this is what's coming up. And again, it's a very mild thing. Because what is the problem now with her niece saying that she and her kids have it? Okay, her niece is excited about it, and now she's spreading it around. She's sprinkling it around, saying, everybody has it. Everybody can have some of this. And they were laughing. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong. And nothing wrong with Josie being exposed to it either. This is what she wanted to look at and she wanted to ask about. And look what came out of it. Is that Josie, the master that she is, very consciously said, no, we stop at my granddaughter. She doesn't have it. No, done. We don't like this idea. You see. So this is good for her to see this, that she has this awareness of how far she will allow this idea in her reality. Because again, these are all NPCs. They don't come up with anything. They have no intention. Everything that's happening is from Josie. Josie is the one pulling the strings. I'm actually very grateful for this question because that was a very cool answer. So thanks, Josie. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care as always and bye-bye.